Israel is blocking DNA kits from entering the Gaza Strip. Now at first, this may not sound like it's very newsworthy, but there are two important reasons and pretty cruel reasons why Israel is doing this. The first is as part of the ceasefire agreement signed last month, Israel and the Palestinian side agreed to exchange dead bodies that each side holds. However, the bodies that Israel returned were in horrible condition. Israel mutilated and disfigured these bodies beyond recognition. Of the 200 bodies returned, only 70 were identified, and identified through primitive methods, through like looking at the body, a particular bracelet or something like that. 130 of those bodies were unidentified and eventually buried without identification. Before they were buried, families who had loved ones missing or in Israeli captivities had to sit through horrible presentations looking at photos of incredibly mutilated bodies to try see if they can identify their loved ones. Eventually they couldn't, and these bodies were buried. Now there are two key points here. The first is that it's highly likely that Israel knows who these bodies belong to. The majority or a large chunk of the Palestinians that were captured like this, and they were put through and documented as part of the Israeli prison system, where they were eventually killed or died in captivity. And the second is blocking these DNA kits, which will help identify these bodies, denies the ability of these families for closure and the ability to bury their dead in a dignified manner. And the second key reason Israel is denying sending over DNA kits is for a reason for the Israeli side to break the ceasefire and launch and relaunch their full-scale war. You see, resistance fighters are having a hard time trying to find and locate where the bodies they buried are due to the heavy Israeli bombing campaign and the bulldozing of rubble to suit Israel's needs. The exact burial locations of the Israeli captives cannot be identified. So before handing the bodies over, the Qassam Brigade and Hamas and others want to be able to use the DNA kits to identify the bodies, to confirm that these are the bodies of the Israeli captives, and then handing them over. But Israel is refusing this. In fact, there's a scenario where the Qassam Brigade sent 3 samples to the Israeli side so they can help them identify or confirm that these are the bodies of Israeli captives. The Israeli side refused to do that and instead demanded that the bodies be handed over. And in a separate incident, when the bodies handed over to the Israeli side turned out to be not belonging to Israelis, Israel was enraged and used this as one of the reasons to break a ceasefire agreement and launch a bombing campaign that killed many. And this is how something as simple as DNA kits can be used by the Israeli side for a final piece of humiliation and continued control of Palestinians.